Is this the kookiest opening to a cooking video ever? Maybe not the kookiest, but showing you my rebounder, guys. It's been a while since I've shown you my rebounder. You can't really see it here though, because I'm in the kitchen and I don't normally bounce in the kitchen. But I'm showing you because people are always asking me about the rebounder, right? And what it is. And I usually do rebounding like 4 to 5 times a week, about 10 to 15 minutes in the morning. Super easy. Tons of workouts online. One channel I love to follow is San Fran Fitness. They're super sweet. Love those guys. They're from the UK. And you can find tons of videos online, but really you can just get on and do any kind of little bouncing that you want to do. And right now, so this is a Bellicon, and Bellicon are an investment, and they rarely go on special, like on sale, like almost never. They go on special once a year, usually around Thanksgiving, US Thanksgiving. And right now, and it ends today, there's a $50 off coupon. So I'm introducing this to you today so that those of you who've been asking about the Bellicon, asking about rebounding, you can go over and there's $50 off any Bellicon rebounder right now. So I have a big one, but there's smaller ones now. I got this one about 10 years ago. It's like brand new, I'm not kidding. And they have newer ones now that are smaller, a little more compact. But honestly, guys, it's like the only home equipment that I have and use, apart from my yoga mat and my yoga bolsters, my yoga equipment, because I teach yoga and also do yoga through the week. But and this is the only other exercise that is part of my routine is this rebounder and yoga, and you could do strength training on the rebounder as well. It's not just cardio. You can do core and just bouncing like this. You're engaging your pelvic floor, your core, and it's really good for balance and what's called proprioception, which is like your body in space. And as you're aging as well, it's just really beneficial. So I love my rebounder. I wouldn't be without it. And before this one, I had one of those spring rebounders, and I really love it for twists like this. Twists, so good for the digestion, low back, spine. And before this one I had, the spring one. Those are noisy because the springs are squeaky, but this one's super quiet. You don't hear a thing, see? Bouncing away. So anyways, I love it. I'll get off it now and start cooking, but just wanted to show you, and I'll show you the color. I already did my rebounder exercise today, so this is mine, like that. So this one is a little larger than, like I said, they have some models that are smaller now, a little more compact, and but these are the bungees, and they're so strong, and I've never had to replace anything, never had to repair anything, and the legs are really sturdy and have the rubber stoppers. So anyhow, I'm going to roll this guy out of the way, this bad boy. Roll him out of the way and come back to you all. Hi, was that weird or what? So happy Sunday. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Michelle from Spokane. You're getting our wet weather. Has this been the wettest October like you can remember? We've had so much rain this month. I'm done. Like, bring a little more sun. And Cindy Reed, yes. So that's the Bellicon, and the link is in the description, and it's $50 off right now, but it ends today. I'm sure they'll come out with another promo around Thanksgiving, or I'm not sure. I'll say they probably will, but I don't see them very often, like once or twice a year. And Cindy, the dimensions, I can message you or reply after on that. I'd have to go to my email when I first ordered it, which was like over 10 years ago, to see what it is. Yeah, so I'll let you know. And hi, the other Cindy. She's eating crackle blender brownies. Awesome. Those are in the book, guys. Have you tried those? Those are in Dreena's Kind Kitchen, and they're made with red lentils. So let me know who else has made the crackle blender brownies. And hi, Ree from Chicago. And Cheryl, hello, hello. Yes, we are. I don't know if you're getting the rain in Oregon like we're getting here. Hello, Diane from Arizona. Oh my gosh, I want to go to Arizona. Just find me a gig in Arizona or Hawaii and I'm there. I'm moving there. I'd be there in a heartbeat. So today we are going to do some quick fixes. I wanted to show you guys some quick things. I mean, I'll talk about recipes as well. Where's my tea? So first off, do you guys have your tea and your chocolate? Do you have your chocolate? I brought out the Midday Squares box to show you. You guys are loving these so much that I keep talking about them because every time I talk about them, I get like an email saying, oh, I ordered them and they're so good. So this is the sample pack. And they're very like minimalist looking, right? Very simple. And this is the sample pack. There we go. And you get 4 of each bar. Yes, I think. Yes, 4 of each bar. And my favorite is this one here, the Fudgia, followed by this one. But today I'm going to have some of this one, I think, because I'm in the mood for that one. So get your chocolate and your tea, and we'll talk food. So today I wanted to show you a couple of quick fixes. I'm going to get the edge that has like lots of chocolate topping. This one is a little more crumbly, more textured. I'd like to show it to you guys. Look at that. Look at that chocolate topping. It's like has little Rice Crisps, or they might be, I think they're Rice Crisps in it. Yummy. I won't eat too much or I won't be able to talk. So, today, first of all, thank you for being here. And if you're on YouTube or Facebook, please like so the video gets a little more exposure. And it really supports my work when you're on YouTube and you subscribe to my YouTube channel and like the video. That helps a lot. Thank you. I also have this new thing on Facebook. It's called, not Facebook, on YouTube. It's Super Chat. Maybe you guys know more about it. If you want to support my work through Super Chat, you can go up and do that as well. I'll just mention that. That's as much as I know about it. I think it's like small donations and you get fun stickers and things. I'm not really sure. There's a lot to process with social media. So starting with potatoes, and I want to get them in the oven. Oh, I have to get my oven on. Okay, hang on, guys. Hang on. Okay, and I'll show you what I got going here in batch cooking as well, because I did some batch prep today. So this morning I did a big old batch of potatoes in my Instant Pot. Yeah, so I'm going to show you that. Big old batch of potatoes. And I do this from time to time. And these are red potatoes, but I like equally yellow potatoes. I'm not a huge fan of russet potatoes. They don't have a lot of flavor to me. They're dry, they're mealy, whereas yellow and red potatoes are moist and they have more of a like natural sweetness. They're so good. So I'm going to show you 2 quick hacks that I like to do with the potatoes. And the first one is going to be for the oven. And that recipe, you know, I call it a recipe loosely, but really, oh, I need my mat. I have one of those mats for the kitchen, those cushy standing mats. You guys have those for the kitchen. I call it a recipe because really, you know, I find people do want to see how things are made and have like sort of a breakdown and outline, but I make these all the time without a recipe. So potato squashers, really yummy, really easy. I used to make them with oil years ago, and now I don't, and you don't need to. So I'm going to show you what I do. get your baking pan with parchment, and I like to sprinkle it with some ground sea salt like this. So that gets on the sheet, and it not only seasons the potato, but oddly creates like a little bit of, I feel like it creates a little bit of sort of like air frying quality where there's some texture under the potatoes, so it boosts them up a bit and helps them bake nicely. Maybe that's in my mind. I don't know, but I think it works. Okay, so we're gonna put some potatoes here, and I like to use big ones for these, but you could use smaller ones as well. And then you need a spatula or something to squish the potatoes, basically. Maybe I'll use a plate today. So you just squish down the potatoes. Look at that. It couldn't be easier, right? Like seriously, this could not be easier. Squishing the potatoes, and the more they flatten out, the yummier they get because they get crispy. So I'm going to do a bunch of the big ones here. And when I did my potatoes in the Instant Pot, I like to put the big ones on the bottom because I find they cook faster. That one's really big. And then I'll just do this many. There. Ooh, that one got really squishy. These almost cooked a little too much. And I swear I didn't cook them any differently today. But I did have a bit of a mishap with the Instant Pot. The sealing ring wasn't quite in. And so when I put it back in, I think it may have just taken a bit longer to cook. Oh, yes, your life is hard. He's going to start crying now. I know. Do you want to come say hello? Where are you? Hang on, guys. I'm going to see Sherlock is here. Okay, come say hello. Here we go. This is our noisy boy, Sherlock. Here we go. Say hello. Say hello to Sherlock. There he is. Oh, he wants to go outside, but he's an indoor cat, so he cries at us all the time because he used to be a stray. We got him at the SPCA, and so he longs to run outside. Okay, now I got to wash my hands because I'm going to be furry. But he's a very sweet, sweet boy. He's so gentle and sweet, and he puts up with a lot from the kids. So potatoes are done, and now all I'm going to do is, what do I want to put in the other potatoes? I have to think about what I'm doing. Okay, yes. So I'm going to add some seasoning to these, but you don't have to use this. I'm going to add some fresh rosemary because to me, fresh rosemary and potatoes are a real match made in heaven, like delicious together. And I'm adding some everything bagel seasoning, which is a totally new thing for me. I did not know about everything bagel seasoning forever up until maybe 3 months ago. And how did I come to see it? All I know is Charlotte really likes bagels with everything bagel seasoning. And it drives me crazy how much those seeds get everywhere when they make toasted bagel. Like they're in the drawers. The seeds are in the toaster drawers. They're on the floor. And my kids cannot close drawers when they're making food. So all the crumbs get in the drawers. I know you know what I'm talking about, right? It's like you clean out the drawer crumbs and then in a week, there's a whole bunch more. Anyhow, I didn't know about this, but it's really tasty little seasoning. It's got like onion and garlic in there and poppy seeds and sesame seeds. So really nice, quick way to add flavor. And I did put a link up there for you guys to check it out. I'll get the camera off me, back on the food. That's more interesting. On Amazon. And Trader Joe's has it as well. I think that's actually the product on Amazon is the Trader Joe's one, which I have bought before. And then this is getting into the oven, except I do want to add a little more sea salt on top. There. And now this is going to go in the oven. And all these edges are going to get crispy and delicious, like so good. Oh no, my oven. You know, I swear the more digital things get, the more trouble they are. So like I pressed my, convection bake 450 for the potatoes, but it looks like it's on. So I just do my thing, but I don't press okay. And then it doesn't preheat. And that happens to me so much because I look at it and it looks like it's on. Whereas years ago, you just turn your oven on and it's on, boom. So I talk very fast. I know, guys. The potatoes, by the way, 6 minutes in the Instant Pot. That was it. And if you have smaller potatoes like these are kind of like a smaller potato. This is fairly large. It's not the, a huge potato, but fairly large. If they're this size or smaller, I'll go like 5 minutes or 4. When I do baby potatoes, like in the summer when we have baby potatoes, I might do 3 minutes. And then get the, no, don't let it stay heated, like turn off the warmer, unplug it or whatever, and then natural release, or you could release it. But they may not be fully cooked if you release it. Most of the times they are. I'm just going to check comments real quick. Need the readers, guys. My birthday is in a couple of days. And I'm just recollecting about how, like, when I was in my early 40s, I didn't need readers, and I'll be 51 on Tuesday. And something happens with your eyes. I mean, I feel good otherwise. Oh, I think I broke my toe though. I'll mention that. I have a lot of, I'm just rambling. Okay, let me just check questions. Jane saying you're in Hawaii. She's saying it's rainy in Hawaii. Yeah, but it's so sunny most of the time. I'd go there. Cindy's got her tea and no chocolate. Oh, well, that sounds good too. You do sound like you have good food. Hi, Pam. Michelle, white chia seeds. The reason I use white chia seeds is just for color. That's all. And that's if I'm doing a recipe, say like I have an apple pie chia pudding, and that pudding, if you use the black seeds, it just makes the color really kind of dull and dark. So you can absolutely substitute black, and it's harder to find the white chia seeds, certainly the ground white chia seeds. So if aesthetics aren't any issue, go ahead and use the black, and any brand works. I think for the white seeds, I've only found them with, is it the Prana brand? Can't remember. I'd have to check my cupboard. And Pat was 6 minutes on the potatoes. Hopefully you got that. And Cindy, oh, sorry, yes, any water. Yes, a little bit, just underneath. So you put the basket in. There we go. You put this in the bottom, and I put about half an inch of water just under that basket, and that's all you need, about a half inch of water. And thank you, Pam. You know what? For many years, I didn't like my birthday at all, and I'm trying to embrace it more. And I think some people generally don't make a huge deal about their birthdays. Some people like. I've never felt like doing a big hurrah for my birthday. And also my dad passed away when I was little, like just 5 days after my birthday. And it was big. Like I lost my father, and we had 3 cousins that died with him that day. And so it was just very tragic for our family. And October was always like a really dark month for us. And we had other deaths in the family. When I was little, I thought that death was always part of your life. Like, I'm going into some dark stuff now, but I just felt like it was always there. And so October has always been kind of a blue, dark month for our family. So for many years, I'm just kind of like, my birthday's in October. So it's not like a pity thing or anything. I'm just, I'm trying to embrace it a bit more, I guess, look at the, hey, I'm, in my 50s and feeling good, and life is good. And, I have this healthy family, and I love my work. So I'm trying to embrace it a little bit more. I have on some occasions in the last couple of years celebrated a birth month, saying that once you're past 45, you get like a birth month. Anyone with me on that? I just kind of say that to the kids, honestly, to get them to do stuff that I want them to do. That's more or less what it's about. Anyways, I have totally gone off track. Ria saying she made the sniffle soup. Awesome. That people love that recipe. Hi, Jennifer, my sweet friend. She's having charming apple crisp going into the oven for dinner. I'm so glad. Thank you. Okay, so the next potato recipe I want to do, first I think I'll show you a little bit of the batch cooking I did. So I cooked up a really big squash today. It's not a pumpkin, it's is this one kabocha or is this one red curry? I think this one's red curry. It's either red curry or kabocha. And oh, Jennifer, your birthday's in November. Okay, so I'm in the spirit of your joy. Jennifer has this beautiful way of looking at life through a lens of joy. And she has helped me see that every day, to look for, those moments of joy. And they could be very small. They could be your tea, right? It could be a breath of fresh air coming from the window. And so I am going to get in touch with that for my birthday, Jen. I'm going to be with you. Thank you. So this squash, I love this type of squash. And I know a lot of us tend to use butternut squash, which I like it too. But this squash to me is a lot, I don't want to use the word meaty. It's a lot, I just used it. I want to say it's more dense and satisfying. How about that? It's kind of like, it's not as watery. Sometimes butternut squash can be watery. So I'm cutting it open. I'm going to show you. See that? And yes, that's hot. So we should have an oven mitt. I'm just going to hold it with some paper towel. There. I actually had some of this for lunch. Not this one. I had already had some in the fridge. And I could eat about half of that, or maybe no, not all of it, maybe half of that with quinoa and greens and put my Buddha dressing on it. That's basically what I had for lunch today. Quinoa, some greens and Buddha dressing. And it's simple. It's so simple and I love it. And see how dark and dense it is? And it's not watery. It's very rich and creamy. Has more of a creaminess than butternut squash. So I highly encourage you to try this squash. I didn't love winter squash for many years when I was vegan. Thought it was rather uninteresting. And the more I've been eating plant-based, the more I come to love very simple foods like this. And with quinoa and a good dressing, like happiness in a bowl right there. And you just scrape out the seeds. And then when this cools down, I'll put it in a container in the fridge. But you could use this as well in like soups, you could use it in any lunch bowl. You could use it in salad dressings and pasta sauces, like so many things. And I like to cook it whole because then you don't have to hack at that big squash, which they are beasts, right? Those are not easy to work with. And especially the ones with the harder rind. And this does have quite a thick rind compared to, say, a delicata squash. And if you just pop it all, give it a rinse, pop it on a baking sheet with a bit of parchment. This parchment is compostable, which I love because I feel like I'm not wasting a lot of paper, right? It breaks down. And then bake the whole thing. I think I had it in a 450 oven for about 45 minutes, maybe. Depends on the size. You just pierce it with a knife and what you can feel, right? If it has give or if it's resisting. And yeah, so that's the squash and I love it. And then I did some chickpeas. I'm smelling the potatoes now with the bagel seasoning, really good. So I did these. This is loosely based on, okay, I gotta show you, find this one now. I think I know which chapters my recipes are in, but seriously, lose track. Loosely based on these in the book, lemon herb chickpeas. And I put rosemary on these as well. And you can see they've got a nice color. Sometimes I bake them a little more dry and other times I bake them a little more moist. Just depends. So they've got lots of nice color. I can smell the rosemary and the apple cider vinegar in there, really good. And This recipe is not anywhere yet, but I have to get it up on the blog for you because it's the easiest thing. Sometimes I think like easy recipes are really boring to put up because they're just kind of like, is that really a recipe? You just basically threw it together, right? But I make this all the time for the girls and Hope loves it. So it's more or less firm, extra firm tofu. I did 2 packages and this is what's left. And I add lemon juice to it and then nooch and I bake it up. And then as it's just about done, I take it out of the oven and sprinkle black salt. That's the kalinamak salt that smells eggy all over it. And then toss it through because when you bake the kalinamak, is that what it is? Yes, kalinamak, black salt. If you cook it too long, it dissipates the flavor. So keeping it fresher or not cooking out the flavor, then you really taste it. She loves this, loves it, loves it. But I have another version that I've done with tahini and it's a little more saucy. So I really should get those up on the blog. I just want to measure it. I'm really bad for measuring now. I just don't want to measure. So I just squeeze on lemon juice, sprinkle on noochie, bake it up until it starts to look a little toasty good like that. And then the black salt. So if you've never had black salt, it's not black, it's pink. But when you bake it, it turns black. As you can see the tofu there, when you cook it, it turns color. See that there? That tofu, that's the black salt right there. But when you first use it, it's pinky color. Not super pink, but like a little bit pinky. I don't know if you can see that pink color there. So that's that. And, oh, one more thing. So who was it? If you're watching, please tell me it was you that asked me to do a ginger version, or that you did a ginger version of. I feel like I have so much to talk about in one episode of our tea time. Like so much to catch up on. The nummy brownie bites. If you're watching, shout out your name that it was you. Because one of you said that you made a ginger version. And I thought, I want to do that for like the holidays. And I did. And I tested them yesterday and they came out really, really good. And I don't know what to call them. What can I call them, guys? I don't want to call them nummy ginger bites. I might just call them gingerbread bites, maybe gingerbread bites. So I did some with, I had to add chocolate to a few of them. Where's the chocolate one? Hang on. I ate about 4 of these last night. Oh, it just like so into them. Chocolate one at the bottom. There, chocolatey ones. So these are the regular ginger ones. And then there's one with chocolate. I just added a few chocolate chips to the top. Oh, that looks like a face. Nose, eyes. Yeah, like a little beard. No eyes, nose, beard. Anyone seeing that with me? It's like a face. Yeah. Gotta have fun with food. So these are the regular ones, and I had them last night with some vanilla ice cream, and they were really good. They smell good. So I'm going to try to get those up on the blog in time for the holidays because they're really tasty, and I only used a little bit of maple syrup and molasses in them, and that was it for sweetening. And the dates. So I have to try to recreate those for you again. I did write the recipe down yesterday. I did write down the measurements. So the next thing is the other version of potatoes. I'm going to quickly check. Jane, I did that squash in the oven. I always bake squashes in the oven because I feel like the taste improves. It kind of concentrates the flavor rather than the steam, to me, dilutes it. So I like to bake squashes. And I feel like that's why they're a winter vegetable, so that it's cold in the house and you can bake them. I also similarly like to mostly bake sweet potatoes for that reason, because I think their flavor is way better. Yeah, so I'm with you, Cindy. I stayed away from those big, scary squashes for a long time, but now I love them. Hi, Melissa. No worries. You can catch up. She's saying she's late. No late here. Jane, the chocolate chips that I normally get are not all the time, either the Coco Camino chocolate chips, semi-sweet dark ones, or the Enjoy Life. And Enjoy Life has the mini chips, which I like, so I tend to use those a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna now move into the next potatoes, which I feel like I did a version of these in one of my books. I did a version of these in Let Them Eat Vegan, and I called them oil and vinegar potatoes, I think. O&V potatoes. Tea break. I think I called them O&V potatoes. And I'm going to use a smaller bowl because I'm not going to do too many. And again, the easiest thing in the world, and steamed potatoes work great, but baked potatoes can be used as well. Same with the potatoes I'm doing in the oven. You can use baked potatoes for those. So I just get the potatoes, pop them in a bowl. So these are the kind of potatoes that come to our dinner table often. And I just cut them a couple of times, just kind of get them in there. See, these potatoes were on the top and they're not quite as tender as the ones on the bottom. They're still fine though. And again, the more messy these potatoes, kind of the better they are. So I'm just going to do that much and show you what I do. And I get a big spoon and I add, this is the simplest thing in the world, balsamic reduction. Now, some of you have the luxury of having the, what's it called? The California balsamic, I think that's in the States that Chef AJ talks about all the time. I haven't tried it. If you have access to that, I understand it's amazing. So I would use one of those varieties. And if not, there's balsamic reductions in most stores. You can make it, but most stores have it. Some of them have sweetener added, but you can look at the ingredients. Costco has them. So if you're not too fussy with a little bit of sweetener in it, you can get it pretty much anywhere. So you add some balsamic reduction, or you can also just use balsamic vinegar, but the balsamic reduction isn't as harsh, right? You know what I mean? It's not as like, whoa, there is a lot of balsamic in that. And then some truffle salt. This is the real deal. Truffle salt is what you want to use. I also have a truffle salted nut cheese in Dreena's Kind Kitchen. Some of you have already made it and love it. This is the brand I'm using. It's Sabatino Tartufi. I'm really good at that. Sabatino Tartufi. I've linked to my Amazon page that has another one. It doesn't look like this label, but it's the same brand. It's Sabatino. Sometimes Amazon has, it's in stock for a while and then it's not. And I need to get a new one soon because I can smell that the aroma of this one is kind of fading. And I just literally sprinkle this to taste. So I'll put a little bit on and then I mix it around. And I can see, it needs more balsamic. So I'll put a little more on. And sometimes I add a bit of straight balsamic, which I'm going to get here. Like a little straight balsamic so that it's not too sweet. I do a little bit of both. Mix it around. I can smell the truffle salt. It smells so good. And then a little bit more maybe. Oh my gosh, truffle salt is very intoxicating. I got to tell you guys, it's like vanilla bean powder. And that's it. And they're delicious. I can't even tell you how delicious they are. But another delicious thing to put on it would be nooch or a nooch parmesan, right? So I have a few nooch parmesan recipes. I have one in Let Them Eat Vegan. I have one in Plant Part Families. I have a nut-free one in Dreena's Kind Kitchen. And I have two on my blog. I should have linked them, but I was thinking potatoes, just potato recipes. So there. I'm telling you that they're delicious. So just try that. and you'll be hooked, and you'll be like, this is the easiest potato dish in the world, and I love it. My dishwasher's on and my sink's really noisy. So I'm just going to quickly check the potatoes in the oven. So you guys have a little chit chat in the chat there. Have a chit chat there while I check them. Oh yeah, they're getting good. Okay, I'm going to take them out and try to flip them. Where's mine? I've had this UV glove for over 10 years, I think. My mother-in-law gave them to me in a Christmas package one year. They really work. They're ugly as heck, but they really work. I like that I have access to my fingers in them. Oh yeah, did I tell you I broke my toe, or I think I broke my toe? Okay, so here they are. That one, oh, my dishwasher's beeping. Everything's singing at me at once. Again, the digital stuff, it all sings at me. Okay, I need one more oven mitt. Hang on. I'll use my dish towel. There. So can you see they're getting toasty? Look at them on this side. Right there. See that goodness? Yum. Don't they look good? Chime in. Don't they look good? And you can flip them now and do the other side, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to put them back in the oven and turn off the oven and just let them finish in the residual heat. Just let them hang out in the residual heat, and they'll get even crispier and more yummy. So whenever I do a batch of potatoes, a big batch of potatoes, I like to keep a few on hand for other recipes. And that's what I talk about in the book in batch cooking. And so if I'm baking sweet potatoes, like I've got some sweet potatoes in the fridge now, I've got the squash, and I'm going to keep these because then I'll use them in recipes. So for instance, I think I linked to a few recipes for you guys. For the sweet potatoes, you could make the sweet potato hummus, you could make the sweet potato cake, you could make the sweet potato muffins. So many things to do with sweet potatoes. I have a recipe for chili with potatoes, and I actually use raw potatoes in the chili, but you could prep the chili and then cube the potatoes like this and pop them in the chili after. Having said that, you could buy a store-bought chili, like one of those bags of chili that you get in the deli section that are vegan. You guys know those soups, right? And you could add them to that, or you could do what I did with the potato squashers, like do that another night. Or you could cube them up and add them to a stir fry. You could make the, hang on, potato cauliflower scramble from Dreena's Kind Kitchen. It's so delicious. And it doesn't have cumin. That's my thing with scrambles. They always have cumin. So like I like to repurpose, right? Like use these ingredients. You could slice them and add them to pizzas. I love adding potatoes to pizzas. When I make homemade pizzas, I don't usually make the crust. I buy the crust and then put a sauce on. Sometimes I use like a nut cheese or something, and slice potatoes for the pizza. Delicious. Slice it and add it to lasagna. Like so many things you can do with potatoes. Just like think outside the box. It doesn't have to be a side dish. And I also use it in dressings sometimes too to add like thickness, creaminess, texture, that kind of thing. So sharing all that with you to always make more than you're wanting for that meal, right? Than you need for that meal or want for that meal, because you can reuse them. And truth is, if they're in the fridge too long and they go bad, you've only spoiled a couple of potatoes. Not a big deal, right? You've maybe spent wasted $1 on potatoes versus not having items on hand and having that like convenience. So, you know, my sort of tip of the day for that. Jane's saying that the cauliflower scramble is her favorite scramble recipe. I love that. I love it. Ooh. Oh, hey, Lou. Nice to see you. Yeah, you can catch up on all of it later. And Jen's saying she loves the smash spuds, and they're so easy. Okay, so now I did promise a kale recipe too. This is my newest prep for kale. So I'm heating up my fry pan back there. I've got a scan pan, and I linked to that as well. But you know what? You guys can get these non-toxic pans are pretty widely available now. Non-stick, non-toxic pans. You can find them in department stores. I found a whole bunch at like HomeSense and Winners here in Canada. But I did link to one on Amazon if you want to have a look at it. So you just want like a good non-stick pan, and I'm heating it good and high. I have it on the burner. I've got the heat turned up, and I've got some kale here. So I find in the fall and winter, like lettuces just are sad. We still have access to a little garden here called Mary's Garden. And they do the most amazing no spray vegetables from their garden, but it's going to close in like November. I was there the other day and I got to tell you guys, because it's dirt cheap there and it's the best produce. I bought 2 romaines that were like this big romaines, as in a whole romaine can just get into a plastic shopping bag. That's how big they are. If I go to one of my grocery stores for organic romaine, at least $3.98 a head, at least. And they're like little measly heads. This thing's like this, and it's no spray. I got 2 of those. I got 2 Italian parsley that were huge, a cilantro, a big celery, and I feel like I bought something else, but I can't remember what it was. Gone. $8. $8. I said, are you serious? Because it was so cheap. If I were to buy that at the store, it would have probably been close to $20 easily. The herbs alone, when I go to buy herbs, like if they're organic, if they're not organic, they're usually $1 something. If they're organic, they're $3 a bunch, right? So I'm off on a tangent again. Okay. So going back to what I was saying is, as that winds down, like I'm really going to miss, I'm not showing the food. I'm just stemming the kale. I'm really going to miss that season, right? That bountiful growing season. And when we get into the winter, lettuces are very expensive and the quality really deteriorates because they're being shipped from, California and such up to, well, for us in Canada. So relying on other greens is really helpful. And these are winter greens. I actually pulled these from my garden. They were growing from the summer and I still have them. And I have a little bit more in the fridge. So I'm going to grab that too. And kale this is curly kale, not dinosaur kale. Kale is, not a friendly green, right? It's it's not the first green that you generally learn to love. I know when I first became vegan, I was not eating greens like this, and I was eating probably romaine lettuce. As kids, the only greens we had were iceberg lettuce. That is the only lettuce we had as kids. It's the only thing that was in the store. I remember once my mom asked me to go get a romaine lettuce or a lettuce at the store, and I came back with a cabbage because they look so similar. So in Newfoundland growing up, romaine lettuce, that was the only, iceberg was the only lettuce we had. And cabbage was really the other green. And I really dislike cabbage. And it would be boiled to a pulp, like boiled out. Ugh, no wonder I didn't like it. And you have to get used to these stronger greens, right? So if you're new to eating plant-based, start with all the lettuces. They're sweeter. Romaine is like a sweet green. If you taste it, it actually has sweetness. And then you move into things like Swiss chard. That's a little bit more bitter. You can, and it has a sort of like a tannin, I think. It has a different taste. I don't love Swiss chard as much. I like kale now more than Swiss chard. But mustard greens are another option, or beet greens. And then you have the spicier greens. Mustard greens have some kick. Arugula. And then kale and collards have that cruciferous quality, right? They're part of the cruciferous family, like cabbage, like broccoli. And they take a little bit of warming up. But when you get used to eating them, then you really appreciate them and you want them. Like, it's weird. You want them. I still want chocolate too. I eat chocolate every day, like every day. There's never a day I don't eat chocolate. So it's my badge every day. Okay, I got this pan on hot, and now I'm going to add some sea salt. It's probably too hot now because I've been talking so much. So again, I coat the pan with a little bit of sea salt, and then I throw in the greens. They have a tiny bit of water on them, not much, not much. You don't want too much water because then they're going to steam. And what this actually does is it wilts them down enough, but it also makes them a tiny bit crispy. No oil in the pan, just the greens. So it's a full pan of greens. Can you see that back there? Let me see. Okay, here we go. Full pan of greens. Oh, I forgot to mention spinach. Spinach is a pretty, it's not as sweet as lettuce. It does have, I'd say it's like the next graduation level, right? You start with romaine and lettuces, and then maybe spinach. But if you wilt down spinach, like my kids don't love raw spinach, but they don't mind spinach in soups or something. And really, you only need to add spinach. Don't overcook it. Like add it the very last few seconds before you serve it. I see these guides sometimes for like steaming spinach or cooking spinach, and they cook it way too long, like 3 minutes. No, spinach needs just like 30 seconds to wilt in a soup. So you have a hot soup, you put in the spinach, just stir it around. It's done. You don't even need to reheat it. And if it's in a pan, it really takes less than a minute if it's on a high heat. So you can see, we will see now in a second, that the kale is getting a brighter green. You see how the color is changing? It's smelling good. I'm going to get back on the heat. And again, this isn't a recipe. This is just a do it, like just a technique. Put a little ground salt in there, add the kale, and the heat is doing its thing. We're not cooking it for too long. It's almost done. Yep, that's about done. Oops, I lost the guy. Get back here. Okay, done. So I'm turning off the heat. And if I was serving this for supper or something, what I tend to do is just move the kale out of the center of the pan, because the center of the pan is the hottest. So I move the kale out from the center, push the pan away from the heat. So it stays warm, but it's not getting cooked more. You know what I mean? It's not getting extreme heat. It's still on the heat. So if you don't want it to cook it all, get it off and onto a pan, or put it on a cooling rack. Like you could use the, that's what I'm going to do now. This is the air fryer pan from my Breville oven. So I'm going to put it on that. And I've been making this lately, and the whole family likes it. Well, except for Hope. Hope has not gotten into the greens a lot yet. And I find that happens at about age like 13, 14. They start to like greens more. So I will sometimes do a soup and like a grain. So I have like a short grain rice, nice and sticky rice, maybe a pureed butternut squash soup. Put those in a bowl together and then top with some of this. So good. What else is really good on it is a drizzle of tahini. I've been buying this guy. I've shown this before. It's a squeezable tahini, and squeeze it over. Kale and tahini are made for each other, I'm telling you. And lemon, sea salt, delicious. So look at that. And you can see some of them got a little crispy. Can you hear that? There's a little bit of crisp, but not burnt. And so it's like a mixture. It's kind of like somewhat sauteed down and somewhat crispy. Yeah, here, see that? Yeah, look at that. See? It's delicious. And if you put a little bit of dressing on it, tahini dressing or Buddha dressing. The Buddha dressing, oh my God, on this is so good. So there's my super quick kale tip. And I make this all the time now. I want you guys to try it and see what you think of it. Key is to have your pan nice and hot. You don't want to steam the greens, and you don't want too much water. As soon as you have too much water or low heat, it just wilts it down. You want high heat, get that on there with the salt. It starts to like sizzle it and also wilt it down. Got it? Yeah. Should I create a recipe for it? I don't want to measure it. I don't want to measure how much kale that is. I don't want to weigh how much kale it is. I don't want to measure the salt. I don't want to do it. So, but there it is. It smells really good. And I would eat it, except I'm in chocolate mode, so I'm not going to. So I'm just going to place that over the pan like that. Isn't that pretty? Kale is beautiful. So you got lots of quick stuff to try today. You've got the quick oven potatoes. Oh, they're back in the oven. Let's take them out and show you after they've sat in the residual heat to show you. Okay. Oh my God, yes. Look at that. Look at those guys. And go to my recipe in the book. If you want a recipe, go to Dreena's Kind Kitchen for this recipe. I'm going to keep those out on top now too. I'm running out of space. And that recipe is on, it's in the burger section. So let me just quickly flip and tell you what page it's on. Where is it, guys? You guys will probably find it before me. It's page, here we go, page 148. Is that 8? Yes. Readers weren't on. So you got the potatoes. You got these potatoes, the balsamic potatoes. I showed you the yummy gnocchi tofu. And the chickpeas, which that's based on the recipe in the book. Showed you the squash and the kale. Abracadabra. Ta-da. Easy stuff, right? This is not complicated. It just takes a little time. I didn't tell you about my broken toe. So I think it's broken. I'm not sure. Well, if it was broken, I think I'd probably be in a lot more pain, but I think I dislocated it. So it was after our video last week. And I was doing some stuff on the computer. I think I was like just following up on the video questions. And I was at the kitchen table and I was kind of thinking about Thanksgiving dinner, and I got up from my chair and walked and didn't realize the chair next to me was on an angle. And I was walking full Dreena force, which is in fast mode, right? I don't walk slow. I'm usually walking fast, and my toe caught, and I just was like, fell. And it looked, my toe looked like it was going away from my foot. It was like, and I showed Bridget, I was like, I think I just broke my toe. She was like, oh my God, Mom, it looks terrible. So I put ice on it, and the next day I could not even bear weight on my foot. I was like hobbling around. I actually did some Bellicon bouncing on my bum. I'm not kidding. And that's actually really good for your core. You can bounce on the Bellicon on your bum. And it's still not good. It feels dislocated. So I'm going to my physio this week, and I might ask her, has anyone ever dislocated a toe? I did read that if you do something to your toe, it just kind of takes time for it to go back. But I've been I was bouncing obviously, but I have to put weight on the inner part of my foot because, and it's actually fine in the house because I'm walking around barefoot all the time. But when I put a shoe on, it's terrible. Like I was out getting groceries this morning and I was just limping around weirdly because the shoe just restricts your movement, right? And I'm barefoot in the house all the time. So that's my story about my toe. And so I'm now going to check. I have to slow down all of the things. Yes, Ree says kale chips are good too. And they almost taste like kale chips, except without all of the fuss of having to dehydrate them or bake them in the oven. You saw how quick that was, right? It took about a minute, maybe a minute. So, and they almost taste a bit like kale chips. And I just put salt on them. You can put pepper on them, garlic powder, whatever you want. And, oh, Jody's asking me about nooch. They're kind of all the same, honestly. As long as it's the fortified nutritional yeasts, they all taste the same to me. The one I have right now is Bob's Red Mill. And I just try to look for them on sale because they're all the same. And if you're in the States, Trader Joe's, I think, has one too. Oh, Monarchs, uses dandelion and purslane in smoothies in the summer. Ooh, interesting. I used to use dandelion for a while and I got out of it. Now, what's purslane taste like? Because I'm not familiar with that one. I don't even think I've seen it in our stores. Is it a little bit like a sweet? I feel like it's a sweeter green. I think I may have tried it once. And, oh, Cindy's asking, do I make celery puree with celery root? I really enjoy celery root. I quite like it. I think it tastes better than celery. And I would bake it up or steam it. And then it's harder though than say a sweet potato. So you're going to want to add some liquid to puree it. So like plain non-dairy milk. You could add a little bit of tahini, or, you know, if you want to use like a vegan butter or something in there, you could do that too. I'm not judging. I got Daya in the fridge. I've got Daya cheese, so I'm not judging if you're, you know, using vegan butter or whatever. The kids like Daya cheese. Well, Hope really does. The other girls, they used to like it, and now they like the nut cheeses. So I find that changes with age too, right? They kind of like the more processed stuff for a while, and then they like their palate adjusts. Like our palates change as we're on this diet, as we eat this food. And that's why you sometimes want a bowl of quinoa, which sounds crazy for a lot of people. But that really fresh, hot quinoa with some greens and a great dressing is just delicious. Your palate adjusts over time. Jane's saying the Scam pans are great. Yeah, they are really good. And if they last, the coating lasts. Like sometimes with those nonstick pans, the coating breaks down. And once it does, you need to get a new one. You really do. I find kids are hard on the pans. And Lou, I hope you try this kale recipe. I hope you like it. And Cindy's adding cooked sweet potato smoothie. I like that idea. I have a sweet potato pudding in my snacks ebook. Some of you have that. It's a chocolate sweet potato pudding. It's so yummy. Did I put that one on my site? I feel like I may have. It might be on my site. If not, it's in my snacks ebook. And I'm going to do a big promotion of that around Thanksgiving for my ebooks. And okay, I'm catching up. I'm going to answer all of these more. Thank you, Michelle. That's very kind. Thank you. I like sharing tips. It's fun. And okay, Copper Mine saying she broke her baby toe. Yeah, I think it does have to heal on its own. That's what I'm reading. It just has to heal on its own. Weird though, because anything else you break, you have to go get it sorted, right? And okay, Belinda's saying she loves purslane. Okay, people, tell me more about purslane. I feel like I've tried it once and that it's a little bit like maybe watercress or something. Okay, Jane, the truffle salt does not cake, meaning it doesn't get clumpy. The brand is Sabatino Tartufi. And I put the link up in my description to my Amazon store, and it has some items that I'm using all the time, like the truffle salt and the everything bagel seasoning. Yeah, so you'll find that there. And hello, Belinda says it's her birthday. Well, happy birthday. Let's wish Belinda a happy birthday. And she picked up my book. I like that gift. She bought my book as a gift to herself. Well, I like that gift. Good on you. You know what? We have to gift ourselves. My husband said to me, he came out today and he's like, I really love you. I said, I love you too. He's like, I feel really bad. I'm not good with your birthday. I said, I know, you really suck, actually. You've gotten like worse over the years. But I told him I want a real estate agent for my birthday because I want to move into a different house. I want to move into a different space now. It's time, I feel. We don't need the like downstairs that we have used to have it for the kids. And we don't need, just want a different space. And I want my dream kitchen. I want a little bigger kitchen. So it's time. So I told him I want a real estate agent for my birthday. But he's like, I really am not good. I'm like, I know, it's fine. Like, I think we need to treat ourselves sometimes, right? And feel good about gifting ourselves because there's nothing wrong with that. Happy birthday, Belinda, coming from Cindy. Lots of love here. Okay, so Cindy's saying maybe I'll just tape up my toe. I think that's what I'll do because I've caught it a few times, like putting on pants. I've caught the toe. I'll stop talking about my toe because that's really not very appealing when you're dealing with food. I have a giveaway today. And I drew the giveaway from last week for the cookbook. So today I'm going to give away a copy of the Canadian Vegan magazine that had my feature story in it and also has a feature story of Dr. Esselstyn. I did the Rip Esselstyn podcast it was a few weeks ago now. It was he posted it just about a week or two ago. Super sweet guy. And I was nervous to talk to him, but he was lovely. And it has some recipes from my book in here, but it has Caldwell Esselstyn's story here. Really nice feature on Caldwell Esselstyn. And it has other recipes other goodies in here. And just kind of fun reads, right? I love feature stories. Sharon Nolan, vegan fashion, lots of fun stuff. So I'm going to give away a copy of that and a copy of the laptop stickers, which I can't show you because they're on the back of my laptop. I need to get more of them, and I'm getting some from my publisher because I had them designed and printed. So they are fun little sayings like tea and chocolate. Hummus is a food group. What's the other one? Kind Kitchen, plant powered with a. So I'm going to give away a copy of Canadian Vegan Magazine and my laptop stickers. So I want you to comment in the comments. Let's see. Help me name the new cookies. Okay. The new ginger cookies. I'm thinking I'll probably call them gingerbread bites, but if you have a better name, help me name. And so please comment in YouTube. I'm going to be drawing from YouTube. So comment on YouTube, go to YouTube, like the video. That's the word I'm looking for. Like the video and subscribe to my channel and comment there. And then I will draw from those comments. Help me name the cookies or just comment on anything else that you want to comment. And if not from the stream of comments here today, I needed to go in the comments on the actual video after. Okay. I think that's it, guys. That wraps up another episode. We're an hour on the dot. Look at that. It's 2 o'clock here. So wishing you a beautiful rest of your Sunday. I'm going to go get off my feet now and wrap my toe. I just said I wasn't going to talk about it anymore. And go have some more chocolate. Yeah, you guys do the same, okay? Have a beautiful day. Thank you for being here, being part of my community. I love connecting with you. And I hope that you find some of these tips really helpful to make your meal plans and your daily food prep a little bit easier. Okay. Blessings to you all, everyone. Sending out much love to you, and we'll see you soon. Okay.